segment is sponsored by Intermountain Healthcare and the Utah Department of Health.
Okay, we have Katrina Jensen here, a pediatric nurse with Intermountain Healthcare, to talk a little bit about the top 5 reasons why checkups and immunizations are important for kids, especially since the pandemic. I know a lot of adults put off their checkups and that kind of thing, but it's even more important for kids.
Oh, it's so important, Mary. You know, when kids are little, their brains are developing, there's just a lot to positive things that can happen, or the opposite. So,
right, but if you find something early, then it's easier to treat.
So those well child visits start, you know, right after kids are born at 2 weeks, 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, etc. But even up through 5 years, really those early childhood visits are so critical, because not only are those immunizations important and scheduled, because those are preventable diseases,
right, but
the developmental assessment that the provider, the pediatrician, the family practice does, the physical physical stature,
right,
and, you know, weight and height and all those things, and just development in general, both emotionally and physically, is what I was.
Right.
It's so important. And so things like, you know, how are they sleeping? How are they eating? How's the nutrition? How's the growth? Things like autism, super important. Any developmental delays that the parent might be concerned about. That's the time to recognize that and to go to that trusted provider where people know your child, they know your family, and you can get that information right there.
And if you keep it regular, you have a better chance of finding out when something might be going a little bit wrong.
That's right. So, you know, up through 2 years of age, you have those frequent visits, and then it goes to a year at a time, so 3, 4, 5. And sometimes people will drop off because they're like, well, my child's gotten all their shots and there aren't any shots due. But it's just important to have that provider take a look at that child, see how things are going, and also for you to have an opportunity to ask questions, because this is your time, and those well child visits are the trusted time with that provider that are so important.
Yeah, and even now it's important to ask about mental health as well.
Yes, and we do see younger and younger kids having those issues. So of course, not just stopping at age 5, but of course every year your child should be seeing that pediatrician or family medicine provider.
Katrina Jensen, thanks so much. Some great advice. And if you ever have questions about these developmental stages and what questions to ask, you can go to our website, KUTV.com, and click on Baby or Baby. Time to check back in with Jill.
Okay, let's do it.